G'day guys, Chewie here and welcome back to some more coverage of Warlords of Draenor, where today we're going to be talking about the Paladin class and talking about all the changes that have happened in 6.1. So before we kick it off, I think the major thing we should cover on is healer damage. So there has been a different change in how the healer damage is distributed across all classes, and the major changes for the Paladin and the Holy spec is that Denounce now has a damage increase of 50%, and Holy Shock damage has also been increased by 50%. So those abilities that you can use against your opponents are going to have an increased amount of damage that they do. So if you're going for that damage sort of side of thing and you're switching out of your 2s or 3s to supply that extra bit of support in terms of dealing it out, that is the damage changes for the healer class for the Paladin. Now I think the best thing we can do is probably talk about some of the talent changes for the Paladin class, because as we know, what Blizzard did for 6.1 is they've sort of leveled out the playing field in terms of everybody's talent trees, and with the Paladin they've done a couple of things here. So what I'll try to do is just break them down into each type one, and then we'll go through each of them as they go along. So to break it off, let's talk about some of the first things that have changed with the Paladin class with the talents. So the first major change with the talents, when I get it up there, is that there has been a change to the Empowered Seals. Empowered Seals is an ability that generally comes from your Retribution or your tanking class, and basically the major changes for this here is basically the Liadrin's Righteousness now increases your haste by 20%, which is up from the original 15%, and Uther's Insight now heals the Paladin for 2% of the maximum health of his life every 3 seconds, which is up from 1% over every 2 seconds, so a slight increase there as well. Another interesting one is Executioner's Sentence has had a change as well. Basically, the healing dealt by the Stay of Execution has increased by approximately around 100%. I think it's pretty much doubled if you were to look at that from the previous patch. There's also been a change to the Retribution for the Final Verdict. What happens now is it actually only increases the radius of Divine Storm by 50%, where previous to this patch, the radius was also increased by 100%, so it was like a massive hit for AoE, so that has been nerfed a little bit. Some other interesting things is for Sacred Shield, in the Holy spec, the mana cast whilst being in Holy is reduced by about 34%, so it gives you a lot more opportunities in here to be casting a lot more of your Holy Shields. As for the Glyphs, some of the major challenges here is the Glyph of Alabaster Shield has now been removed, and the Glyph of Harsh Words actually only works if you're in the Holy spec. Basically what this glyph is, guys, is instead of using your Word of Glory to heal, you can actually target the enemy and use it for a damaging ability. So before, that was pretty much free cast and anyone can do it, but pretty much now you have to be in Holy to spec this, and it is just another way you can pump out the damage. So those are, I guess, some of the primary talent changes for the Paladin class. Now, don't get me wrong, these are just the talent changes. There has also been some changes to the way each class receives various buffs. So the best way to break that down is to, first of all, speak about the Holy class, which I'm using right now. One of the major changes for Holy is the Beacon of Light heals no longer actually benefit or consume the Glyph of Flash of Light effect. So what that is, guys, is when you cast your Flash of Light, the person that you've targeted will no longer consume that effect that you have targeted there, where previously it did as well. So I guess in that way it is a bit of a nerf, nothing too major though for an arena sort of environment, but it is a nerf. As for the protection, some of the changes there is the Seal of Truth. Basically it's no longer available to a Protection Paladin, so instead you'll have Seal of Command is now replaced with it by the Seal of Righteousness instead of the Seal of Truth. So you have a different ability to select from there, but you won't be able to choose that talent anymore. Something to note also with the talents, the Beacon of Insight and Holy has now also increased the healing it receives by 40%, up from 30% from target. And also with that, it moves to the next injured ally when the target reaches 90% of their maximum health instead of full health. That's what it used to do. So a little bit more benefit, but it jumps 10% before maximum life. Some of the other glyphs, like I said, the Shield of Apalaster was removed. A Shield of Glyph of Harsh Words, as I said before, is only available to Holy Paladins. The Glyph of Immediate Truth is now actually only available to Retribution Paladins, and the Glyph of Judgment is now automatically learnt at level 25, so it's pretty much already learnt for you guys. Some other things that have changed with the actual set pieces for PvP, I should say, is basically now the set piece for the Holy Paladin has had a change. So basically what it is now is the set bonus for the denounce buff that you throw down for the critical strike, it's gone up to 12 seconds. It was previously at up to 8. As for the 4-piece set bonus for the Holy Paladins, it's actually been redesigned. So basically, your Eternal Flame or your Word of Glory now also reduces the damage taken by the target for 5% for each Holy Power consumed, up to a maximum of 15% for 6 seconds. So basically what that means is when you're building up your Holy Power, which I'll try to do for you now, and you cast that ability on your target for your Glyph of your healing, you're going to get a buff which is going to basically throw down on your allies and give them a damage reduction. So it's obviously a bit of an interesting ability to be using there for a redesign, and it only works in PvP combat. So I probably should have mentioned that. I don't know why I did that there, but just proves that it's not working. But it does definitely work, guys. You actually have to just be in a PvP engaged environment. There's the actual buff talk there. I should have mentioned that before. Other than that, look, guys, honestly, in terms of the healer damage change, a couple of tweaks on the talents, and also what I described about the various classes there, Paladin is still pretty much the same old Paladin. We're pretty much no major nerfing, no major boosting either. We've pretty just leveled out with the rest of the classes. So, and again, I guess what I'm running with this season, no real significant change with the stats that I'm running with my Paladin from my previous video. However, I have sort of redone the talents, which I'm going for. I'm pretty much running with the same glyphs, guys. I'm going for the speed of light because it's just a great escape. Obviously the Fist of Justice, so every 30 seconds I can stun. I've replaced Eternal Flame and went for the Sacred Shield because I'm just finding it's just another instant cast ability. And yes, it's not a heal, but it's definitely a defensive ability. Clemency is definitely selected, so I've got 2 applications of my buffs that I require to do. Keeping the Sanctified Raft, so when I do pop my wings, I'll be spamming a whole lot of Holy Shocks with a cool cooldown. Again, Holy Prism, pretty much staying as it is, guys. I really love it. I think it's perfect for the Holy Paladin. As for these two, again, same. This is 2s, this is 3s, and that would probably be a really great thing for 5s. Enough of the talk. I've gone over the stats. I've gone over some of the major changes. I think the best way we can complement this lovely Paladin is jumping into a 3v3 arena match and checking out some more Holy Paladin play in 6.1. Let's check this out. Alright guys, up for our 3s match, so quick chuck into it, guys. We're playing as a team composition of a DK, Warrior and Holy Paladin combo. Just to reiterate what I said before, I have gone for the Holy Shield now, Sacred Shield I should say, and the reason for that is I had a really good feedback about how you can dispel the Word of Glory, I should say the Eternal Flame. So the shield is really more beneficial because it does supply that little bit more defense capability. It's an instant cast, and it's something you can just pummel in there while you're doing your Holy Shocks to keep your allies alive. Now the team they're up against is a Disciplined Priest, Frost DK, and a Beastmaster Hunter. I'm expecting some strong bursts coming from, especially from the Beastmaster and the Frost DK. So really it's about me surviving in this sort of thing, because I could get trained. And what I like to do when I play the Holy Paladin now is, before we go charging into all that craziness, is I like, just as the counter goes offline, to start the battle, I quickly throw those Sacred Shields along to everyone. And then I just get myself out of harm's way. So, depending on some matches, they charge you while you're doing this, and you do lose a little bit of time doing it, but it's definitely a great thing to start off the match with. And here I was just really trying to break some distance between that DK and that Hunter running around the corner, because it's quite obvious they're going to start to channel me. I went for a quick prayer of movement, which basically made us immune. You can see they're starting to really focus the damage. I've got all those pets on me. I've gone down quite critical. I did pop the bubble there, so now I'm trying to get my flash of lights back up there. And the beauty about that popping the bubble is they really didn't have anyone there ready with the dispel, because all the harass was really getting hit on the healer there. I think at this one I tried to sneak in a quick stun on the healer as well, in the midst of all that chaos. But look, we nailed the healer, so this is pretty much a match. I know it was only a quick one, but look, I hope you enjoyed my little discussion about some of the changes with 6.1. We managed to survive that, and I'm quite enjoying using that shield. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. It really does help. It really does. I do see the light with that one. And now we're just finishing off the last one, which is a DK, and here comes the win. You know what, those DKs, you know, fair enough, he's not giving up. They can just take such a large pounding. But this is pretty much it, guys. We've wowed it. I hope you enjoyed the introduction to the changes and a quick round in the 3v3. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.